Hey there, and welcome. I'm Anna Hartman, and this is Unreal Results, a podcast where I help you get better outcomes and gain the confidence that you can help anyone, even the most complex cases. Join me as I teach about the influence of the visceral organs and the nervous system on movement, pain, and injuries, all while shifting the paradigm of what whole body assessment and treatment really looks like. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Unreal Results podcast. I'm recording at 4:25 p.m. and it's getting dark. I think the sun sets at like 5 o'clock today. And here we are on our way to winter. I don't love it. Still grateful that I'm by the beach though. Sunset's at 4:55 today. Don't know if I'll make it. We'll see. But I might go out for a nighttime walk. We'll see. Anyways, I'm distracted. Just because I'm like, also I feel like I'm in front of my desk light and it's just very bright. How do people do this with like a ring light? It hurts your eyeballs. Speaking of eyeballs, actually, that's what this podcast episode is about. This may come as a surprise to some of you, but in 2 days, we will be at the year anniversary of the beginning of the Pink Eye Chronicles. Now, I'm going to have Joe link the Pink Eye Chronicles episode for you from last year, or at one point, I can't remember when I filmed that. I think it was during it, because my eyes were bad. If you're new here, you're like, well, what the hell is she talking about? I had last year, November 5th, to be exact, I had a severe case of viral conjunctivitis, aka viral pink eye. And what I mean by a severe case is I got a severe, what the doctor ophthalmologist told me was a severe infection. And a severe infection in your eye comes with complications and comes with apparently not just a short experience. Because if you've been following me over the year, you know that every 3 months now I have to go to the ophthalmologist for a checkup, because one of the complications from severe viral pink eye was I got a condition, something, I don't know. Words about eyeballs are hard. But it's basically white spots on my cornea, which blurs my vision. And so I'm on a immune suppressant eye drop for that. And it is a slow march towards improvement, though it is still improving. And yes, after 12 months, there's still white spots on my cornea from the complication of severe pink eye. The other complication that I have, and the doctor told me we'll probably have for life, is pretty severe dry eye. Now, what I've learned, and this is actually why I wanted to do a podcast episode on this, because number one, sometimes it's hard to think about what I want to talk about. But number two, I thought it would be cool actually to talk about all what I've learned over the last year about eye health in general. And not eye health like vision, but also vision, but not like, we're not going to talk about like doing eye exercises, so that's important. But we're just going to talk about general health of our tissues of our eye. And what I've learned and like what products that have been helpful for me. And, those of you, maybe those of you with vision challenges or with eye issues, you already knew this. I don't wear glasses. I've always had good vision. I've never had eye issues until last year when I got severe pink eye. The biggest eye issue I ever had probably was allergic conjunctivitis, which is like when I was a kid, I had real bad hay fever and my eyes would get red and like swollen shut from that. But that was temporary and allergic, and it would go away as my allergies went away. And also I could treat it with Benadryl or Actifed, which was my favorite brand name, like decongestant. So anyways, what I've learned, actually, most of what I've learned are along this is about dry eye. And ironically, over the last month, I've been having a dermatitis on my face, which has been a ocular dermatitis as well, and it's given me some major post-traumatic stress emotions going into this year anniversary of severe pink eye, because I've had similar like flare of just swelling around my lids, itchiness, and increase in my dry eye symptoms. And it just, so the year anniversary of this is like been on my mind, because as my eyes were having this ocular dermatitis, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with viral pink eye again. Like, that was one of the most uncomfortable, long things I had to go through ever, and I don't ever want to go through it again. Like, what? So, anyways, but the good news is because of this journey with the dry eye, and the spots on my cornea, when the ocular dermatitis did flare up, like, at least I had like a plan of attack of like how to deal with it and how to like treat it, and treat the symptoms maybe of it a little bit better. So, the fact of the matter is, the doctor was like, you're probably gonna have dry eye forever now, because of the severe infection. But he also was like, did you have dry eye before? Are you sure no doctor ever told you that before? And I'm like, no, yeah, you're right. Every time I went to the eye doctor, which was not often, because again, I didn't have vision issues. I went occasionally. Well, that's a lie. I do have vision issues, but none that required glasses or contacts. I have a small astigmatism that I first found I had in college, and not even in college. In college, I found that I had weakness in my eye muscles that caused some blurring vision. And I did the doctor gave me eye exercises, like literally gave me pencil push-ups, and that helped it. And then later that started bothering me again, and the eye doctor I saw then, instead of giving me exercises, put prisms in glasses for me that, because it was like a little worse. And then at some point that turned into, I have astigmatism. Whether I had it all along or what, I don't know. But so occasionally at night, my eyes would bother me, that I thought was my astigmatism, or I thought was my eye weakness, because of the way the blurriness would get. And since I've had pink eye, I now realize what I was actually having symptoms of was dry eye. And I did know I had dry eye on the occasions that I did go to the eye doctors, either for a checkup or because this like astigmatism or the issue with my accommodation was acting up. The doctor would always say, oh, well, you've got some dry eye going on too. Like, make sure you're using eye drops regularly. That's the equivalent of the dentist being like, make sure you floss regularly. Like, okay, sure. Yeah, I will. No, I won't. I don't. I mean, occasionally I'll floss. Maybe this is why I have the dental issues, but my point is when doctors say stuff like that, sometimes it's like so common, right? It's so common for a dentist to be like, you need to floss. You're going to start flossing, right? Like, you really should floss. Like, you've got some plaque and some like beginnings of gingivitis. You should floss. And you're like, yeah, okay. Same. I thought the eye doctor was the same thing. They were like, oh, you got dry eye. I lived in Arizona, for God's sakes, for 14 years. I lived in the desert. And so I just was like, yeah, dry eye. I get it. Like, there's no moisture in the air out here. And even the dentist was like, yeah, we live in the desert. It's really common. A lot of people have dry eye. So, and he was like, make sure you use drops regularly. And that was kind of like, make sure you floss your teeth regularly. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll use these drops you give me. And then I never use the eye drops. Because why? Because nobody explained the symptoms of dry eye to me. Had someone had that dentist, had that optometrist, I think it was just an optometrist, had the optometrist at the time explain to me symptoms of dry eye, I would have been like, wait, that's also my symptoms. And I would have probably started using eye drops more regularly because there would have been a reason for it. This is the one part where it doesn't make sense with the flossing because there are symptoms and I just ignore it because I don't know. I hate flossing. So anyways, the symptoms are, well, ironically, the symptoms of dry eye, besides blurry vision, like that's a big one, blurry vision, tired feeling eyes, eye pain, is watering eyes. Your eyes are watering a lot when you have dry eye. I did not know this. And I used to think this. I'd be like, oh, if my eyes are watering, I'm like, oh, this must be good for my dry eye because clearly my eye's dry. So having some tears is good, right? But it's actually a symptom of dry eye that you're constantly tearing. This is actually how I probably got the viral pink eye in the first place. In fact, I remember leading up to when I got the viral pink eye on this trip a year ago, I was having a lot of like constant like watering eye. And I was like always wiping my eye, like wiping the corner of my eye over and over again. And that's one of the lessons learned from this experience is don't fucking touch your eyes unless you've just washed your hands. Do not touch your eyes unless you've washed your hands. I'm going to say it one more time. Do not touch your eyes unless you've washed your hands. But because my eye was watering a lot, nobody likes to have tears rolling down their face. So I was like constantly wiping my eye away. I must have touched a surface with the virus on it, which is most commonly the adenovirus, and then touched my eyeball and put the adenovirus right in my eyeball. This is the crazy thing I learned also, and which is in the Pink Eye Chronicles podcast episode. But the adenovirus lives on surfaces up to like 90 days. So again, if you haven't just washed your hands, don't touch your eyes. Period. So the symptoms of dry eye, blurry vision, tired eyes, like painful, achy eyes, watering eyes. Maybe there's more. Oh, well, it can also just feel like your dry eyes. It can feel gritty. It can feel itchy. I also notice that when I have dry eyes, they're more puffy. So those are all kind of symptoms. And now the challenge is how do you make them not dry anymore? I think the reason I'm not a last episode, I was like, I'm not a doctor and I'm not your doctor. Still not a doctor, still not your doctor. Definitely not an ophthalmologist, definitely not an optometrist. So I think though, the reason why I'll always have dry eye is because the tissue layer, the barrier layer of my eye was so severely affected by the inflammation from the infection is that I don't have a very good barrier anymore to keep the moisture in my eyeball. So one of the solutions for the dry eye, and why I have to go back to the ophthalmologist every 3 months as well, not just for a checkup on the white spots on my cornea and how that is improving, because that makes my vision blurry too, along with the dry eye. The blurry vision from the white spots on my cornea, as the white spots go away, should improve. But the blurry vision from the dry eye improves as soon as your eye's not dry anymore, which is why sometimes when we do get blurry vision, our instinct is to blink our eyes a bunch, which creates more tears and gives us that barrier, moisturizes our eyes, and things are less blurry. That is our natural response to when we see blurry, is to blink a lot, right? So one of the things that they do, I have plugs in my tear ducts. They just drop these silicone plugs right in my tear ducts. And the reason for that is they're preventing the drainage of the fluid that's already in my eye. So there's a thought process of people with dry eye, your fluid is naturally draining too fast. And so if you put a plug in one of the drains, then you're more likely to keep your eyes moisturized. The other thing is the eye drops, the artificial tears. I find that the eye drops that have the flaxseed oil in them, which is the brand called Refresh Omegas, I think it is. I have them right here. Refresh Optive Mega 3 preservative-free lubricant eye drops. These ones, I feel like these eye drops are really good. I started using them during the actual pink eye when I was so dry, because I felt like the other eye drops without the omegas in them, I could literally put 20 reusable, 20 little eye drops nowadays. A lot of the times come in these little one-use, like these one-use container thingies. I probably could have done 20 in my eyes every hour and still felt like no relief from the dry eye. Whereas when I switched to these ones, the Optive Omega 3 lubricant eye drops, I really felt like it finally felt like it was lubricating my eye barrier better. And that's because naturally we do have a layer of fatty acids, of lipids on our lining of our eye. That does help keep it moisturizing. So it does restore that fatty acid layer a little bit better. So that's really helpful. Some of the things that are helpful in treating dry eye is just understanding things that cause dry eye. So sleeping with a fan on is a big one. Being in front of a fan, like in the car when the air conditioning's pounding on your face. So again, living in Arizona, that was a huge thing. The fans in my house, like big thing. I don't sleep with a fan on anymore. All of those things kind of dry you out. So even being outside on a windy day, that dries you out. Screen time. The reason why screen time like exacerbates this dry eye is because when we're on screens, whether we're watching TV, we're on the computer working, or we're on our smartphone staring at it, when we're focused on things, we don't blink as much. And when we don't blink as much, it dries out. So sometimes just taking a regular break from the screens so you can close your eyes and blink a little bit and have a more natural kind of like eye response, the better. So those are kind of some huge pieces. And then the other things that I tend to do is I've been literally addicted to these warm compresses, and I wear them every night. And the warm compresses, like you get two benefits. The warmth sort of facilitates the like glands in your eyes to secrete the oils. But then also, since it's a barrier with a mask, you get some like heat condensation on your eyes as well. So that's a big one. And then recently, so I'll link those in the show notes. I get them on Amazon. You can get them direct from the company too. It's called Cornea Care. They're called Rescue, I think. No, Rescue's the cold ones. Rest is the heated eye masks. Those have literally been, it's crazy because I was like, wow, we're coming on a year. That means for 11 months probably, because I didn't start those immediately. I started them kind of towards the end of the month of the pink eye. You'll learn in that previous podcast. Viral pink eye lasts about 4 weeks. And it's severely contagious the whole time, which is part of the misery was I couldn't leave the house. But anyways, I've been using at least one mask a day for almost a year, which is crazy. I don't love that from a environmental standpoint because that's a lot of waste for something that I could get one that's like reusable. But also, knowing that I want to keep my eye really clean, I like the single use because it means it's a little bit more, I don't want to say sterile. It's not sterile, but it's like, not contaminated. So, I mean, I'm still going to use them. I would love to see if I can not need them every day. I just love how they feel though, and they do really help my dry eye. So we'll see. But recently I bought some new products from this company called Peep Club, and they have some eye wipes that are like coconut oil based. That's supposed to be good, and like an eye balm. They also have this wand that is like a heated wand. I'm hoping that the heated wand will maybe replace the daily eye mask. Same kind of concept though. The heat helps stimulate the glands that secrete the oils. And then this one also has red light, blue light, and a green light to help too. That might just be more from the puffiness and the retention of the fluids there. I don't know so much for the dry eye, but definitely the heating part of that wand I'm interested in. I just started trying it, so I guess I'll link it, but I do not have my stamp of approval on it yet. They also had this spray that was supposed to, it did say this spray was shown in their research to help dry eye. But the spray is hyaluronic acid and some other things. You spray it just right on your lids. And then the coconut oil wipes, the theory with that was some of the wipes that have tea tree oil and hyaluronic acid, apparently they can break down things. I've not heard that before, but that makes sense. So I like the idea of coconut oil being a little bit more natural, but so far I don't love the feel of it. But I can get over the feel of it if it helps my dry eye. So I'm going to try it for a month and see if it makes a huge difference. But, and then like I said, I'm on that medication, eye drop medication too, which is an immunosuppressant. It's technically a dry eye treatment, but it is also for that white spots on my cornea. It's super expensive. It is something that I might be on for life, but I would really love to get off of it, but I won't get off of it until the white spots are gone. So, those are the big ones. I mean, like I said before, if I would have appreciated the symptoms of dry eye originally, then years ago, when the first optometrist told me I had dry eye, I would have treated it better. Oh, one of the things I learned too, actually, from an ophthalmologist, a neuro-ophthalmologist, I guess they're different. You would think that an ophthalmologist is a neuro-ophthalmologist because your eyes are your brain, but also I think maybe no, there's this certain specialty called neuro-ophthalmology. And my sister got evaluated by them once in relationship to some brain central nervous system stuff that she was having going on. And anyways, during their evaluation, one of the tests they do is a peripheral vision test, and they actually look at, it's not just a peripheral vision test where how good it is, like measuring with like the bunny ears. But a peripheral vision test where they actually look at the cells in your eye and like can see which the cells that are responsible for like the peripheral vision, how healthy they are. And I remember her telling my sister that like the way the things were in her eye, the dryness was affecting those cells. And so she was basically saying that the dry eye, when it goes untreated, not only do you have blurry vision, but you start to lose your peripheral vision, which is very interesting too. So again, like had I realized that dry eye was like an actual condition, right? Like the way it was already told to me flippantly last minute in the eye doctor's office, the optometrist's office, was like, oh, by the way, you also have dry eye, so make sure you use drops every day. Had it been told to me that dry eye was an actual condition, and not only wasn't it a condition, but these are the symptoms this causes, and when you don't treat it, you progressively lose your peripheral vision, I probably would have taken it more seriously and started using eye drops more regularly and started like just being better about like taking care of my peeps, my eyes. And I think that overall too, like this is just like as you age, I guess too, like you realize like, oh, I could have been taking care of my skin a lot better my whole life, and my gut health a lot better. And like I think part of the reason too is when you're younger, you just think you're invincible and like nothing's gonna affect you. And then as you age, you realize like, oh, this vessel that I'm in, this body has to last me for a long time, and I want it to like be a good journey towards the end. I don't want to be in this vessel that is not well. And taking care of our eyeballs, yes, from a visual health standpoint, but even from this like tissue standpoint, is so important. And I speak in our courses, in the LTAP level 1 course, and when I talk about treatments, you've probably already on the podcast have heard me talk about like container and contents, and also being able to treat from a structural standpoint and from a functional standpoint. And so this is what it is, right? Like, yes, all the eye function is important, but the container is important too. And understanding dry eye and all the things that you can do to support your moisture, the barrier of your eye, to maintain your good eye health. And then therefore, I'm assuming what I know about the body, right? Any mucosal lining plays a huge role in preventing infection and like facilitating an immune response. And so this is also going to help you be more resilient against infections like pink eye, potentially, I would assume. Like when we can appreciate it from this, like we start to realize like, well, yeah, duh. Like we brush our teeth, we clean our ears. Why did we not think we had to do stuff special for our eyes? Like our eyes are so important to us. And yeah, it gave me a lot of perspective. And there are times that I was like, even now, there are times I was like, oh my gosh, I wish my like my routine wasn't revolving around my eye health. But then I'm also like, your eye health is so important for the function of our bodies, our movement, our nervous system, our general wellness. Like it's kind of silly like to complain about like having it be a priority in self-care. Like, and again, like equal to the teeth. Like I don't love brushing my teeth twice a day. I don't love flossing. I still don't floss, but I use a water pick. So I kind of floss. But right, it's like I don't love those things. I don't love having to do that every day, but I just do it. It's part of my day. It's part of taking care of myself. It's like bathing. So, maybe I should forget being annoyed with it and be grateful that I've learned these things about like all the products out there and all the ways that you can support your container of your eyeballs, because they are your brain. What? Like how, like of course I want to take care of my brain. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Hopefully you're like, probably you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I have dry eye. You probably do. We probably all do. The doctor's not wrong when he said that. We probably all do. But if we all knew why we should be caring for our eyes a little bit better, then maybe we all wouldn't have a dry eye. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.